It is recording.
Woo! All right. So welcome to the Center for Intercultural Relations, your home away from home. We are the Multicultural Center on campus, and we'll be able to tell you a little bit more about what we do, our programs, our cultural student orgs involved, and then we have some interactions with you at the end to answer some questions and really allowing also Joyce, our diversity peer educator, to share her experience working at the CIR. So really what we do is we create space that promotes appreciation for diversity and really centers marginalized communities and underrepresented populations. And that's through really putting on programs like this so that we can support you all and that you know that we're here and that we see you and we want to prioritize your identity development and acknowledge that's a huge piece of who you are and what you bring to SDSU. So we have a range of different programs that are academic, personal, professional, and cultural development, and we continue to build. So something that's really awesome that I think I will popcorn back to Joyce a little bit about is to talk about how the space is and what our front desk does in order to engage community. So Joyce, do you want to tell them a little bit about that?
Yes. So I mean, it's a very, very, very chill space. I think starting off, I didn't have much of a community on campus because I'm a commuter too. So it's just hard to connect and constantly and just find a space. But the CIR is that for me, and so at the front desk um, we just say hi to everybody, and we ask you what you need, and um, it's like family over there, and we have a living room, and it's really like a home. um, and I think we'll get into the other stuff in the other slides, but that's all I can say for now. It's amazing.
Thanks, Joyce. So a little bit more that's really significant to our space is we're really created out of student activism in 2003. So I think this spring is our 17th year of being open. So a lot of history. We have cultural strength, counter narratives. Our values are identity development, cultural proficiency and humility, intersectionality, community wellness, advocacy, leadership, academic and professional empowerment. And on our right, you can see some of our material that shows how we embody those things. So we have a diversity awareness certificate, which is a year-long process, and you can join that. It's completely free. It's a really great resume builder, and they're large-scale inclusive events. So for example, we've hosted the costume designer of Black Panther. We've hosted Indigenous peoples to speak about Native Hawaiian and Aboriginal identities. We've talked about Black love during Black History Month. And then we've also shown films on mixed race identity. We also have a cafe with women of color, which has evolved a little bit this year into the Women of Color Empowerment Group. That's something that Joyce has been participating as well. So after that, after I explain all this, I can go back to Joyce a little to talk about that. We have high school conferences, which are opportunities where you participate within a cultural organization to plan high school conferences. We currently have about 12 to 13. So we collaborate with student orgs such as African Student Union, Muslim Student Association, Asian Student Pacific Alliance, Hispanic Business Association, amongst many, to put on these high school conferences. And it's really beautiful because it's really y'all who are empowered to create workshops that you think high school students want to see and to promote access and outreach. So it's really that hands-on impact that you can have. And it's kind of like maybe questions you all have right now of like, how will college support me, or how will I see myself in college? And as you integrate into it, you can give back as well. And you have a whole team of people like Joyce and I that help you through that process, and you're not alone, which is really cool. It's like, just like, it makes me think about just being part of clubs in high school and working on projects together that are really fun, and that you'll be able to just have that community and come back to it. And the CIR also has meeting spaces, meeting rooms where you can have those study sessions or those task force meetings for things like high school conferences. And then lastly, informally, because I think like we one of our students, one of our diversity peer educators, well, two of them actually, founded Black 365 because they're saying that Black History Month is not just 1 month, it's every day that they're living. So we want to say that Heritage Month is something that we want to cultivate all year long, and not just like this is the month for it. But of course, we have programs around that. So then I'll give it to Joyce to share a little bit about her experience in Women of Color Empowerment Group. And then we'll also have flyers a little bit later so you can see more tangible events for the DPEs. And we both will go into that a little later too.
Yeah. So I've been going to Women of Color Empowerment Group for the first time since this semester, actually, and it's hosted by Zamed and Coco, who are counselors at the Counseling and Psychological Services. So they created this group, and it happens at the CIR every Thursday, and we're still doing it through Zoom. So you can join if you're a woman of color, and it's really a space for us to be able to talk about the things that is, pertinent to our experiences as women of color, and on this campus. It's We discuss like topics like intergenerational trauma, and um, just learn about things like self-care and self-love languages and what that looks like to us. um, it's it's a lot of unpacking on a Thursday night, but it's such good like heart work. And I can say like I'm just so thankful for it, and it's one of the spaces on campus that I feel like really heard and supported in. Yeah,
Thanks, Joyce.
of course. Let me know if you want more information on that.
Yes, definitely. So our team, our staff, it makes me so happy to see this slide. So we have our diversity peer educators who are really the heart of our center. You can see them now. And they all have different specializations. So if you're interested in continuing to get to come into the CIR, and then also taking it to the next level, if you want to be a diversity peer educator too, these are the different things you can do. We have positions of operations, programming, outreach, high school conferences, and then we also have a volunteer program. So if you feel like you want to get to know the space a little bit more and learn more about social justice before you dive in, we also have that opportunity. So really shout out to all of them. You're going to be able to see the programs that they all host in the upcoming slides. So much love. So this is our leadership team. We have me, Jessica, Samantha, Rick, and Yolo, and they're really the support system for our diversity peer educators. We have one-on-ones with them, really have the space to focus on holistic wellness. So it's not just about like how your class is doing, or just coming to school and having that transaction, but really adding that community component and really feeling like people in this space know you, and we grow with you for all the years that you're at SDSU. and it's been really beautiful. So join the community a little bit more. You can see in the middle picture, that's one of our multi-purpose rooms. And right there, that organization is having their paint night. So we have community care and wellness as well. Joyce, do you have anything to add?
Yes, I believe that's NASA.
Awesome.
Yeah, they're the Native um, American Student Association. Sorry, I blanked out there for a second. But they have their own resource center now, which is so good and amazing. But we are open to, our space is just open for, student orgs to come and host their meetings. We have a quiet study space. We have a living room. We have a her story room. We have the multi-purpose room, and those are all spaces where you can host your programs with your student org, of course. And we also have a mind body spirit room where we have a lot of students can pray over there, and we also have a fridge and a microwave, and free printing, but we do like have a limit to the printing. And we also have a gender neutral restroom and a library where you can actually check books out. And they're registered with the school library too, right? And so these are all just, I wish we could take you into our space so you could actually see it. But you'll see art on the wall. This photo on the right is all of us DPEs. And there's like my favorite is the fall of the patriarchy. So this is in the living room, and you'll see the library on the side, but we have a lot of artivism on the walls, and we try to make it as student run as possible. What else? Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could find out about checking out some of our rooms through our website here on. Oh, and if you want to get involved, we have volunteers, and eventually we're hiring right now, or we finished the hiring process, or in the process of finishing it. But probably in the next semester, I will be graduating. So we will be hiring. Yeah, and it's a year-long paid position. And we also have a graduate assistantship if you ever want to go into your master's and work at the CIR. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the visual. So these are all the different events that we have. And I did want to touch upon what Joyce is saying. We excitedly expanded our identity centers, and I think they have other sessions today too. So you could definitely go back and see their recordings. So we have, okay, here we go. A Black Resource Center, a Center for Transformative Justice, which is really giving space for previously incarcerated folks on campus. We have the Women's Resource Center, the Pride Center, the Native Resource Center, and then the Latinx Resource Center. Did I get all of them?
And then our center.
Yeah, and then our center.
Yes.
So the Multicultural Center is really awesome and just like special to our hearts, because that's I think I see it, and maybe Joyce could speak to it, as a place where everyone can come together and we can prioritize some of that intersectionality. So, for example, the Women of Color Empowerment Group, it's just the intersections of folks that identify as woman or femme, and then bring in their ethnicity and race to have those conversations. Return to the Erotic was exploring sensual sexual identity from a Black feminist lens, which is really awesome. We have Resiliency 101, Thriving from Motherland to Diaspora. So really the intersections of our children of immigrants or immigrant identities. we were supposed to have a program that's postponed to the fall though, which is being allies to undocumented students, and then also being able to understand what an undocu ally is. We have environmental justice, which is the intersections of how sustainability really impacts different people of color, as you could see in Flint, Michigan. So just really awesome content where we make sure that we have an identity conscious lens. I know
Yes.
I didn't touch on all of them, so I wanted to give this
Yeah.
space to Joyce too to add.
Um, so as DPEs, part of our position is hosting a passion project. Um, and so like a lot of the presentations being put on are by us and other students. And so in this photo right here, you have Natalie, who is a DPE at the CIR. She's in the middle, and Lane, who works at the Native at NASA. And what's her name? Becky, and she's part of AS and like part of like the sustainability council. So it's really, I mean, Natalie came up with this event, the environmental justice, that's her event. And we're constantly collaborating. We love that. Um, we also focus on, community care. So during the finals week, we had like a paint break um, with Bob Ross where we watched like a video and we learned how to paint. And Resiliency 101 was one of my first programs with another DPE, Alyssa, and it was for Filipinx Heritage Month or History Month. And we really, we taught people how to make turon, and we, gave a presentation on like our history that we never really were taught. And we also just got to talk about our own experiences as immigrants or like first generation, second generation, 1.5. And then on the top right, um, we have like a talk. I don't know if it's happening next semester still. We have Talk It Out.
Sorry, I was on mute.
Yeah.
It should
Okay.
happen next semester. We, as I feel like we're all going through, we had to adjust a little bit because of going virtual because of coronavirus this
Yes.
semester.
But we have Talk It Out, and it's we have an in-house counselor. Her name is Martina, and she's just amazing. She has a multicultural identity, and so it really is someone who can be in the space and really um, understand or the context of a lot of what we're going through as a person of color. And um, that would happen every Thursday, and you just walk in, and if she's not meeting with someone, you can just pop inside and talk to her. And um and it's a very, I know that counseling and psychological services has like a long line of students waiting to be seen. So this is sort of their way of just, I guess, outreaching to everyone who can't be there, or who, there's a stigma of mental health and seeing a therapist in a lot of communities, marginalized communities. So it's just our way of outreaching, and another resource that you have. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Joyce. There's so much expansion of just like the details of what we strive to do. And that's some of the feedback that we've gotten. If people that come into the front desk want to see, I've heard them say, like, I really liked your paint night. Can we have it again? We'll make it happen. Um, I think Joyce, a program that she was putting together and that we had to postpone too is laughter yoga. So being able to connect with different parts of the body too. So, and then of course, if you're interested as a volunteer, of course you'd have some of this leadership opportunity to be able to shadow and then potentially create your own program. So with that, I think we're wrapping up. Wanted to let you all know that we will be in the student union. when you come onto campus. We're on the second floor across from the theater. Monday through Thursday, we are open from 9 to 8 p.m. Usually the front desk starts at 10 a.m. and then Friday until 4 p.m. If you have any questions after this, on the Explore website, our email is there, and you can refer to it and you can email us. And then wanted to get you all to our social media. So our website and then our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I think I'm gonna pull them up as we're opening up some of the questions so you could see it if you're interested. So then that really concludes our presentation, and we want to invite you to ask any questions you have. Here are some of the questions that Joyce came up with, and we're interested in getting to know you as well. So feel free to ask us any questions at this point, or even you can ask your question more anonymously to the host, and then we can like say it out and we can answer them. Joyce, do you have anything else you want to add?
No. Francis, are you the Francis that I know? Because that name sounds familiar. But that's pretty much it. Francis, if that's you, give me a thumbs up.
Hey Joyce,
Oh my gosh, it's you. Okay.
it is me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, it's Joyce.
It's good to
That's
see
so
you.
awesome.
We went to high school together with Chloe too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Chloe's from my class. She's in my year, so.
Small
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
Chloe's one of our diversity peer educators too.
Oh yeah, I know. She promotes like all this stuff a lot, like a lot. So
That makes me happy.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thanks for shouting out and just saying hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
What's your major, if you don't mind me asking?
Kinesiology.
Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
that's awesome.
Yeah, with an emphasis on pre-physical therapy.
That's
Ooh.
cool.
But
Yeah.
yeah. What are your guys' major? Well, Joyce, I know your major, but
Yeah.
I'm a
major?
film major. If anyone is interested in
Yeah.
in getting into that and asking me like
Mm-hmm.
for information about that.
And then my major in undergrad, I went to the University of San Diego for undergrad. I was business admin. And then for my grad program, I went to UCLA for Master's of Education.
Woo.
Oh, nice.
Any additional things?
Yeah. Do you all have any questions for us, or what are you looking for your SDSU experience?
Oh my gosh.
Y'all could like chat too.
Yeah, I
We
do
wanna
want to
make it
say that like that I guess my first really 2 years of coming to state, it was I wasn't as involved on campus, and they tell you like this is the rate at which, people who don't feel as connected to their campuses like drop out. And I think I felt that like to a certain point, like wasn't very I wasn't connecting with anyone on campus, but like this space was really when I started working in this space, I found so many like my connections. And it's just a good place when you have like long gaps or something. You don't have to walk all the way, you don't have to just sit in the library by yourself. We have a microwave, we have a fridge you can pop on and eat lunch with us. And we have a fridge so you could put your stuff in there while you go to class. What is the commuter life like in SDSU? Yeah, it's you can definitely, see. I think I found it a little hard to like, because sometimes you want to join student org meeting or student orgs, but you can't always make a meeting because it's super late at night and you're not going to stay on campus for like 5 hours. I mean, you don't have to, but it's people don't, it's just harder to be there late and then, you know, having to walk to your car alone. And so there are ways in which it can be alienating. Um, but really feel free to like reach out to their people here who can help you and connect you with communities that you feel like you fit in, or you want to be more involved with, um, because I think that's how I've found the spaces that I've really loved. Um, but it's literally like the CAR is the one place that I'll go to when I have like a huge break. I always actually go there. I'm always in there, even when I'm not working. And I think that just says a lot about like the space that you want to be in. Um,
Yeah, and then if I may add too, so I do feel like the CIR helps a lot with commuters because of our living room. I see people take naps all the time, which I love. And we're super open like that. We have some pillows and then we have some blankets, and people just turn towards the side of the couch that you can't see and take a nap. Joyce has been one of them.
we have like the comfiest couches. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you could store your food in our fridge and warm it up in the microwave as commuters. I was a commuter in undergrad too, and I know how tough it is because you feel like you need to find a space where you could be your home base. So those things, we host every so often in our living room events where we'll have free food. So have that, and
It's like
then
when there's free food, everyone's just like, there's free food, and everyone kind of just comes running in from like the different rooms that they're chilling in. It's
yes,
just, yeah,
exactly. And it's funny because it spreads like fire. We're just like,
it does.
come through.
If there's free food in any part of the campus, like, we'll know. We'll
Yeah,
know.
yeah. We're also in a like more central place in campus, so we find the food. The food is in the union sometimes, and we have
Yeah.
to get it. So that, and then Student Life and Leadership has a commuter life program. So if you wanted to be just like I think they have mentors. So if you wanted to be a little bit more connected, you could have that too. Um, yeah, and so Joyce and I were answering the question of what is commuter life like at SDSU.
Yeah.
Any other questions? And feel free when you ask in the chat, it's just to me and Joyce. So we'll say the question out loud and we could preserve some of that in a anonymous nature.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, thank you for that question. So if there's a specific group for Asians, so it's exciting. I think I had named all the different identity centers earlier, and we're expanding quickly. So we're currently working on a Asian Pacific Islander Desi American Center.
mhm.
And for now, some of the we still have programming and organizations. So we have a lot of cultural organizations. We have a coalition, like an umbrella group called
A-
Asian
APIC.
American Pacific Islander Coalition.
Mhm.
And the orgs that sit in there are AB Salmahan, which is a Filipinx org. We have PISA, which is a Pacific Islander. APSA, which is Asian Student Pacific Alliance. Am I missing any,
There's like
Joyce?
a lot of like there's VSA, Vietnamese Student Association. There's like so many
Mm-hmm.
housed under there, which is kind of why it's like pretty disappointing not to have a resource center yet. But we are working on it. Hopefully soon. Um,
Do you
yeah,
want to mention
and
Epiphany?
yeah, Epiphany. So there's this group, I guess, called Epiphany, and it's also it was created through Coco, with Coco, who hosts Women of Color Empowerment Group, and who's also a counselor at uh, Counseling and Psychological Services, and another grad student. And so it's also student led, and you know they bring food. We have boba and just snacks, and we there's like a student presenter every Thursday, and they talk about sort of like the intersection, a topic, and like the intersection of mental health and the AAPI community, because there's, especially within that community, it's not, there's a huge stigma around it, and we're really trying to create a space where we can talk about things um, like I think Jess did a presentation on refugees, the refugees,
Yeah,
right?
I did a presentation on the impact of Southeast Asian migration as it relates to immigration and refugees.
Hmm.
So even still, there's so many. That's what the CIR is here to do, and then in collaboration with Epiphany is like there's so much identity and wealth in it. We want to hold space for those
Yes.
programs and things.
Yeah. And we touch upon like multiple topics, like inheriting dreams that aren't yours, or like your parents' dreams, something like that. We did like a lunchbox sort of series where we talked about food and racism and and identity. And what's another one that we did? um
We did like a panel that was a queerness and AAPI community. So again, the intersection and holding space for multiple identities.
mhm. And we did another panel on um what's it called, API in the arts, and I thought that one is really cool.
Yeah,
Someone who's working at Disney. It's really awesome.
it was really cool. She brought like a Baby Yoda purse wallet. Oh my gosh, I was like, you created that? And then it's like,
Yeah.
AAPI Women in Arts, yeah.
Yes. So it's like we're really breaking barriers and talking about things that I think the previous generations like never um had the capacity to talk about. And so it's just breaking those intergenerational, patterns. And yeah.
Totally. Thank you for the question. Our next question is, I've been at a small private school my whole life, and I was wondering if anyone has a similar experience, and what did you do to overcome being overwhelmed by attending such a large campus? Great question.
Mm.
I can go first. And of course, if anybody does want to unmute and share, if that's a similar experience, that's what we welcome, and that's what this space is, kind of like a snapshot into conversations we have in our living room all the time.
Mhm.
So I went to, I think my experience with that is I went to University of San Diego for undergrad, which is about like 4,000 students. I mean,
Wow.
comparatively to like a smaller high school, I mean, a private high school, it's still much bigger. But going from that to SDSU, there's definitely a lot of energy. And you're right, it can feel overwhelming because you're like, what do I pick? So I think that this is a great first step. Just like coming to this session or even listening to other recordings to see what really meshes with your vibe, and to see like, you know what, that org, that person gave me a really good feeling, and I'm gonna go check them out. And what I've noticed, and I think Joyce mentioned it a little bit, is it does take at least a full like 6 months or to a year to understand all the different offerings and for you to like tangibly go through those experiences. So I would just say be patient with it and give yourself that time to be able to just explore all of them and see which ones you naturally progress in and grow in. And then typically sophomore year can be tougher too, but it's really what feels comfortable to you. So you could hang out, for example, in the CIR in the living room, and you'll be able to strike up some friends. Or if you like more of an intimate setting, you can select a student org to join as well. And then get to know people that way. Then naturally people refer you. you could ask the people within the org ask them for what they suggest and share some of your interests, and then they will be able to suggest different opportunities to you too. So it's kind of like still building off some of your familiar and like really strength experiences and going from small to big, if that makes sense.
I also came from like a very tiny, me and Francis came from a very tiny high school, and so like coming to state, I was just like, oh my gosh, everyone here is so tall and there are so many of you. And I sophomore year is when I started to feel like I don't really feel like coming on campus anymore, because I've tried like film society or being on commuter board, because those were things that I knew like that were part of my identity, um and I was really looking for more of like a social justice centered space. And I can't believe I didn't know about the CAR till I was like a sophomore. Yeah, really. And it's really being patient with yourself and open to making friends. I know that's hard. I still find that very hard, but this is, you can reinvent yourself anytime, and when you find a space that really clicks with you, things will just come into place, I think. That's how it was for me. Not only did I like gain a community, but like a literal space for me to feel comfortable, because it is also a predominantly white campus, and there are spaces, most of the campus just doesn't feel very safe to me, or even friendly to me. And it's just the home. I go there first thing in the morning, and it's the last place that I leave. And I think that's so important, especially if you're a commuter. And these spaces are not big. They're actually pretty quaint, and you can have a lot of intimate um, connections through identity centers too.
Yeah, I think it's kind of there's also workshops as
Mhm.
well, or programs that you can attend that are just initial like you're like exploring yourself too and what you want to grow into, and so you could process and kind of have that reflective space and then decide what you want to do. I'm going to go back a couple slides so that I could show you the different programs that happen and that you can attend and kind of build off of and
Mhm.
start just like feeling like a sense of belonging.
Yes.
So
Um, so Francis did ask, how did you stop feeling alienated in such a, oh, I feel like you, yeah. So, feeling alienated in such a big school and find your own group. I'm still, um, so I think the reason I didn't join AB Samahan is just because I knew that, I was looking for a different sort of space. And what's interesting is I found that in both Epiphany, um, or collaboration with another student organization through the CIR, and just at the CIR itself. Um, how do I stop feeling alienated in such a big school? I still kind of feel like that sometimes. Um, I still do. Outside of the space, it's not gone.
I feel like I wanted to say too, I appreciate that question and you sharing, Joyce, because I think what I really appreciate and that we've cultivated in the CIR is authenticity and just being able to share realness and our truths together. And and it's not always perfect, but then I think the awesome part is that we have resilience and community behind you in those days where you're like, I feel kind of stuck or alienated, and that holding space to be able to nurture us together, to be able to make that part of your experience still a one of strength and one that you just gain experience out of. So I think that's what we could definitely commit to. And I'm just, as I'm saying that, it just makes me really happy, because the CIR is such a unique space to be able to even say that and do that for each other. So I'm glad you came to the presentation.
Yeah. And I think you take, what I do is like I take little tokens of what I want to keep and hold on to in my heart when I go into spaces that alienate me, and a lot of times that's in my own major. And I just take that whatever I have in these spaces, Women of Color Empowerment Group, and just the resiliency that Jess was talking about, and it really strengthens you. I don't think you should underestimate the power of having a community and people who are real with you and really, really support you and care about you on campus. Like, that has gotten me through a lot of just alienation and yeah.
Yeah, and I appreciate that question, because it's like, I think it's such a exciting time to start a new chapter of your life and to challenge yourself to be in a bigger setting. So I'm sure a lot of other people are thinking that too. So thank you for asking so that we could share.
Yeah. Did you want to show them our social media?
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna stop this.
Instagram.
And then I'm gonna switch on to this. Okay. So can you all see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, cool. So this is our Instagram. Feel free to follow it. And I wanted to show you some of the different flyers we have. So we have our shout outs for our diversity peer educators, our graduating seniors. We have these healing circles for a like anti-Asian xenophobic incident that happened on a Zoom bomb. And again, like, that's kind of like scary, right? But our community, we got together really fast and we were able to provide resources to understand and process and validate. We have, this is Sisterhood of African American, Society of African American Sisterhood.
Yeah.
And this is our high school conference. It was really around the topic of love.
It was
we have
beautiful.
Yes. We have a newsletter, so you can sign up for that. I wanted to give it to Joyce too to share.
Yeah. So I was gonna have my healing through laughter yoga session this March, but it's being moved to the next semester. And I mean, look at the sort of programming we have. Return of the Erotic. I helped Jazz come up with some of the names for her sex talk series, but there is, it's not a thing that we're trying to break the shame around that. And so these are projects that our DPEs are really passionate about talking, and we're not filtering them or telling them like what they can't present. And I think that's so awesome. And I think the cool thing about college or university, in my opinion, is to be able to have these like conversations that are usually just sensitive. Yeah.
Totally. I think that the CIR holds this space that you might not see in dominant society. And we really want to show the strength in our counter narratives and reclaim them, be empowered by them. So holistic healing, like you can see, like Joyce was saying, exploring different identities. It's really elevating who you are and preparing you, like giving you the opportunity to feel like you are really exploring in college and elevating yourselves. Yeah. So then feel free to look through this and
yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, and I just want to say that like a lot of these programs are things that we were never really taught in a lot of our classes because they just aren't available to us. So we're creating our own curriculum essentially for what we want to learn and just taking charge of our education, which is really cool.
Yeah, really cool. It gives you that hands-on experience to do your research for yourself, and we have a community to help you figure out how that research looks like, or even like if there's a topic in class where you're like, I want to expand on this a little bit more and I want to bring this program to the CIR, that's something that we help you do. So I also wanted to show you our website, which is pretty new. There are some of our cultural orgs that we collaborate with on this site. So like you were asking, some of you were asking what organizations or opportunities are there. They're all here and it's linked to their social media. So you can click through that. I could put the link in our chat. And then to give you a little bit of like an overview of our resources, and we have room reservations. You can also do the contact us if you have more questions. Yeah. Do you all have any other questions for us? There's the website. Yay. Someone said, thank you for sharing. Awesome insight. We're happy that y'all could still join us virtually.
Yeah. I wish we could show you around the space. This is the living room. This is where we watch movies. It's so fun.
But come through.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
in the fall, we can definitely do that. We'll owe that to you. All right. I think that we're all good today. Again, reach out, like email us if you wanted to ask any other questions. We can also schedule kind of like one-on-one calls with you. Yay, thank you. We got another thank you from y'all. We appreciate it. And good luck. We're so excited that you're going to join the SDSU family. Let us know if there's anything else that you have questions on before you make your decision. Congratulations on all your hard work and just the awesomeness that y'all are going to bring into higher education. This is such an exciting time for you. Awesome.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, y'all. Have a good day. Have a good other virtual sessions.
Bye, Francis. All right.
We'll stop record.
Bye.